Good Saturday morning, my Teaserking family. Funny thing happened today. I wake up and I thought it was Sunday for some reason. I was like, oh, today's Sunday. Okay. Because I'm not working. And then I realized about 20 minutes later, it's Saturday. Well, once I got out of bed, I realized it was Saturday. Anyway, so gold made a modest comeback yesterday. It's 28 28.58. So we were into the 29s and then it was down to the 28, about 28.30, and then it started being bought back at 28.54. So silver's still sitting in the 31s. Now, as I've suggested, the demand's up here and the real price is up here, and on COMEX is down here. That's why you see so much price movement, and that's why you see so much being bought. The Camry at 35,000, he couldn't sell any. There was no market there. It was too high. The ribs at $45 are too high. This car at 200,000 would be too high. There's no market for those at that price. So with gold and silver, we know that's an issue. But they won't let the market run. They won't let it be a free market. They need to control it because they make money on the derivatives. So when gold it's 29.40, they do a short a put derivative shorting it, goes all the way down to 28.30. It's like, let's see how far we go, and they make money. And then at 28.30, there's resistance. They do call options and they go, okay, we want the price to go up, and the price moves in a range, because there's always demand for it. But again, since it's controlled by derivatives and not free market, there's nobody buying and selling it, then we don't really know what the price is, but we know there's demand, because as it drops, it keeps going up. So it's like steak. If the New York strip falls to $10, everybody buys it. At 20, they don't. So they're just looking for the price that they can sell the most amount on. But it just shows you there's demand. And if it gets too low, there's buying. But if it gets too high, nobody buys. That's what a market is. That's what you're looking for. So when we talk gold and silver, we know there's, even at the high point, there's demand, right? So there's never, at this point, we haven't figured out the magic number, but we know here, we know it's here, and we know COMEX is here. So as it goes up, there's still demand. And then the derivatives knock it down, not people selling it. Not, I'm not interested. It's basically all gone. And so it goes down, but then immediately goes back up because there's demand for it. So that's one thing I try to teach you is supply demand, and that creates the economics, which creates the price. So in that situation, the price is settled by what people will pay for it. And that leads us to what I'm talking about: risk, investment, retirement, gambling. It's all related to supply and demand. It's all related to risk, if it's controlled, if there's changes in the variables that happen. So this is how you have to understand all this. And I'm not, I think people, watching these movies, and it's just watching Bugsy, right? So he wants to build a flamingo because his idea is there's demand for gambling in Las Vegas where it's legal, and yet there's no, if I have this, I have a monopoly. There's no competition. Now it's the 1940s, and I'm not sure, but I have a hard time believing it cost $6 million in the 1940s, but okay. Morning, Prophet. I didn't see another email from you, so I checked the other one, but the other one you just you didn't really ask any questions, so I didn't really respond to it. So what's Bugsy doing? He's creating a market, gambling, which people don't understand, but they like to gamble. They like the excitement. Where's the demand? But I don't know how raw and how small Vegas is in the 1940s. I know there was like a army facility there. They were building the dam, I think. I don't really know the year they built the dam. I suppose I could look that up. So the idea of putting a nice casino there, I thought was a bad idea for the time. Let's look. When did the dam get built? Let's look at that. Let's break this down. Yeah, things are on hold now with her dad's funeral taking place this weekend. Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously he was sick, so that makes sense. And then, um, I don't know who's handling everything, but somebody has to create the shipper, right? To say, take this and ship it somewhere. So if it's shipping to you, well, who's doing that? And if it's otherwise to your girlfriend, but somebody has to be doing it, they should be paying. And then the insurance is going to cost you an arm and a leg because it's a lot of money. So I'm not getting that. Who's creating that? I think it's the attorney, right? And I think that he should be the one paying the shipping. I'm sure he's getting paid to do that because from what I read, so that's where it should be. When was the Hoover Dam built? The Hoover Dam. Okay, construction started April 20th, 1931. And 1936, during the Great Depression, was dedicated by President. So we're in a depression, and the idiot president creates a dam 31 to 36. Now Bugsy's there in 1940. So first of all, that's the worst thing you can do. This is what Keynes says will stimulate the economy by the government spending. What are you spending? Where are you getting money to spend to build a dam, which I'm sure costs millions of dollars? Why are you that's to stimulate the economy, which is bullshit. You don't need to stimulate the economy. You need to stop. Don't raise taxes. Don't take all the gold. Don't do tariffs. So you've increased cost on everything. That's why the depression happened. At the end of the day, the stocks dropped a little and came back, and they were all fixed anyway. And then you have tariffs, which raise prices. So tariffs did this. So you have the market running great in the 1920s, and then you introduce tariffs, which does this. So nobody's buying because the price is too high, like the Camry at $35,000, and everybody will spend $25,000. There's no market here. So when you do tariffs, you raise that. There's no market. Okay. And so to stimulate the economy, which is the Keynesians, I don't know what to call it, just just stupidity, let's call it. Uh, with that, they go, well, we'll spend, that'll stimulate the economy. No, because you're not generating revenue. I don't know who owns the dam. If it's the government, why would the government buy a dam? Why wouldn't a private company buy the dam? It's like the government owning the flamingo. The government shouldn't own the flamingo. Bugsy Siegel owned the the mob owned the casino. So that's what you have. Why the government spending? So back to Las Vegas. So from 31 to 36, there was a lot of people in Las Vegas who built the dam. What did they do after 1936? I'm not sure, but so for 5 years, people had to live there. So I assume some of them stayed. So do you have a market? And the people that built the dam probably made a lot of money because they were government employees. And so I think he would have had a demand. He would have had a market for the casino, and he would have been the only casino. Well, there was that other little shack early in the movie, and there was probably other casinos like that. I think if it had been me and I was tasked to do something like that, I would have made a simple, not spend a lot, although I'm mafia, so I have money, not spend a lot, but made a decent casino and then let the profits of that casino lead me to buy another casino, make another one. And then I would have made a flamingo. So I would have come in at different, if you go to Vegas, I mean, when I went back in the day, I mean, there was Holiday Inns and Travel Lodges, and then there was Caesars and the Bellagio, and then so you could stay at a better, like now you can go to the Winter Venetian or you can stay at the Tuscany. Tuscany is a lot less expensive than Caesars and the Bellagio, but it's okay. That's the option because some people have more money and want to spend more, and some don't. And so that's what I would have done. That was his mistake from an investment standpoint of spending so much. Now, granted, he had income from the gambling and probably from the women that their business, right? So they're in New York, so they were making money. They had $1 million, and I'm sure he was making money in California when he took over from the guy. So I don't think $1 million was all that much. So he probably had that, but I still would have I would have built like a $500,000 casino, then another, and then as I'm making profits, then I'm going. But to put 6 million in and then that's crazy. Not that it won't work, but that's not how you gamble or invest. Profit. The lawyer is handling everything now, as far as I know, as he should be. That's what I thought I read in the will. He did mention the shipping and clearance fees, but like you said, that should be covered. Well, and not only that, but if these bars are, if you don't mind, in another country, he has the ownership, the attorney. So he should be, okay, we need to ship these. And at that point, he should be paying for the shipping, the insurance, because it's a lot of money. And then why go to you versus your girlfriend? This is curious. What are you supposed to do? So all of a sudden they all trust you. Like I said, if you've met her and been with her and you've known her for a while, okay, fine, maybe there's the connect. Like me and Jenna, I knew Jenna a good 8-9 years on and off, and I know Daria 5 years waiting to meet her, but we trust each other. So that's, I think, the key is the relationship and how long the relationship. And otherwise, why is it coming to you? That's the curious thing. But okay, but you could just as easily take it and run to Romania with it. I mean, so there's a lot of trust if they send them to you versus sending them to the daughter, and it's up to the daughter what she does. So that would be my only concern, but he should be handling the shipping and the insurance. And as long as you get it, what I would do is when I get it, I would take one bar to my coin shop here, or a jeweler somewhere, or a Rolex store, or Cappers, a high-end jewelry store, which I know you have in Montreal. And I would just take a bar in and say, I just want to verify that it's real. They might ask, where did you get it? And I wouldn't answer. I'd just say, I got it, and I just want to verify it, and let them verify it. And then, okay, this is good. I would imagine it's good, but you want to verify it. And then I don't know what you're supposed to, from there, I don't know what they want you to do. Maybe you sell a bar to the jeweler and they'll melt it down and make a bunch of necklaces and bracelets with it. Or maybe you keep it. I wouldn't sell all the bars. That's insane, because the gold's going up in value. So that's what I would do if it was me. Speaking of that, I haven't heard from Daria. I heard from her yesterday morning. I haven't heard from her today. Daria has a habit, and this is a culture thing, right? And when she goes to the doctor, she does things and tells me after, and it bothers me, because I'm like, why is she shutting me out? Which is basically what she's doing, but I don't think she understands that she's doing it. So you've got an age gap and you've got a culture gap, and so when you're dating other people, that you have to understand. What I would do is tell her, hey, I'm going to the doctors. I'm doing it. I tell her I'm going to the pool, but she's not like that. Once in a while she will, but usually she doesn't. And I used to get more frustrated by it. Now I know she had a tooth in her gum, and all I said was, maybe go to the dentist instead of the doctor. And she said, no, I'm going to the doctor. Okay. So she needs some operation. I assume she's getting that and she's recovering. Although you would think they put a hole in it. Anyway, so I'll hear from her, but it does, like, you got to get used to a culture difference. Ideally, we can wait until after July 1st to sell any of the bars. Well, yeah, I mean, you don't have to sell them now, but if you do need money, you have the assets. And this is what I'm dealing with, kind of semi-retired, like Don Corleone. I've worked my whole life, so I've gotten paychecks in every week or every other week. And you get used to it, and you go, okay, I'm getting a check. And then I take the check and I pay my bills and I shop, and then I go to Vegas or I go to Europe and I travel and I buy clothes. You pay all your bills and then you have fun with it. You buy gold and silver, buy stocks. And I think the biggest problem people have when they retire, they're not getting the money in, right? But you're used to getting the money in. So now you have to kind of try to be stoic and try to save. And this is where it gets very difficult. I think what you have to do, the lesson learned from me being older to you being younger, is to buy assets when you're younger. Think about your retirement, which you really never do, right? Who thinks about it? We're just gonna have fun. Maybe you buy a house, maybe you get married and the kids, and so you don't really think about retirement. And you go to work, and then there's the 401k, and they match it, so you get all excited. And really, what you don't really want those assets. You want real assets. You want the cards. You want the gold and the silver. You want the Rolexes. If you can get a Van Gogh, that's really what you want, because at the end of the day, you, like me, I could go sell an ounce of gold. I can go get this card graded and sell it. I can take an ounce of gold, go to the coin store and get $2,900 for it. So if you need something, you have to have the physical assets that you can sell, and then you live your life when you're not working. That helps you retire. The problem is, if you have the money in stocks or bonds, then what if the stock market crashes? There goes your retirement, which is about to happen. you got money in the bank, but you don't realize is the inflation, and of which most people don't even know what it is. But if the money isn't backed by gold, the money is going to be inflated to zero. That's a fact. That's going to happen. So that's why you really don't want to be in this and using this as, well, I got $1 million to retire. You've got $1 million of crap that's going to be worthless. That's why you got to hold stuff that won't go to zero, which is gold and silver and, Montana rookie cards and Mickey Mantle cards. That's why I say those are Rolexes, because they won't go to zero. So as you get older, you can't work anymore. I mean, I'm still working a little, but basically you wake up going, well, what am I, I'm not getting money in. Well, I get Social Security in, but I'm not getting money in. Well, I get my football money in, and with the cards and the gold and the silver going up. So I'm making money on gold and silver, on gold, not silver yet. But that's how you got to worry about retirement. They'll put you in stocks that give you dividends. That's the idea of retirement. And so you get the stock, and then, I'll buy Coca-Cola and get a 5% dividend. But what they don't tell you is that the money won't last, because the money will lose value. And that's really the heart of the lesson today is the fact that you're relying on stocks and bonds and the government to not fuck up the money. And as you know, they're all corrupt, and there's Bernie Madoff, and they do fuck up the money, and they print it and print it and print it, because most of them are Keynesians, and they say, we can just keep printing. We can't go broke. We'll just keep printing the money. Like, you mean something's going to happen to the money if we keep printing it? That's how stupid they are. And they're the ones running the money. And so that's the hard part of retirement. So my advice is to buy as much gold and silver as you can younger. And it's getting harder because now gold's going up in value and the dollar's losing value. So then it becomes, go buy as much silver as you can now. If you can buy 1/10 of an ounce or 1/4 ounce gold, I'd highly recommend it. If you can get the cards, you'd have to go to a card show and find this, and you could probably get it for a couple $100 now, or the Jordan rookie, or different cards. But that's kind of bad. But maybe you could do that. But the key is something that's limited with high demand: Montana Mantle, gold, silver. And that's what you hold. And then when you get older to retire, if you need money, you cash in gold, you cash in silver, you cash in the cards, you cash in your Rolex if you need money to pay your bills and eat and go on a vacation and everything. Because the idea of retirement is you're not working anymore. You're done working. And, at what stage can you still be productive working? I can still be productive working, but how long can I keep going? And then it gets to, well, I can't work anymore. Now what do I do for money, right? And that's the problem. Now, the gold and silver, what's good is that as the dollar loses value, the gold and silver goes up. And that's really the key to it. And then as everybody realizes the dollar's going up, the gold and silver flies, and then that's your retirement. That's your investment. And so what's an investment is taking the money you earned and making money with your money is an investment, basically. And as I suggested, we can do this in poker, and we can do this betting football games, and buying gold and silver, and buying Joe Montana cards, and buying Rolexes. That's basically the investment. You're making money with your money. And most people just don't get they don't get it. They don't understand what the investment is, or why they're doing it. That's why when I teach you to play craps and get up and then quit, because that's your investment. You made money, go. Poker, you've made your money, go. Football, we've made our money, go. Theoretically, in gold and silver, if it wasn't price fixed, we might take our money and go. Excuse me. Right. So if gold wasn't price fixed and it was $10,000 an ounce, which is probably where it should be now, and let's say we bought it at 5 and now it's up to 10, we might take our money, part of it, and go. The the financial advisors would don't like it because it's dead money and they can't get commission on it, so they try to talk you out of it. Be careful with who you listen to. He'll say, "Oh, don't buy gold. It's dead money. It just sits there." And you're like, "Yeah, but I can't be in." See, the part they don't tell you is the real dollar has no value. It's going to zero. So any stock or thing in the bank or annuity or real estate trust will all go to zero. That's what they don't tell you, but they make commission on it. But even they don't know. That's how stupid these financial advisors are. So as you're going, you have to realize that fact that the dollar will go out. And so you want assets that will not go out with the dollar. And then, so as I'm saying with gold and silver, so let's say, how do we profit take poker and we profit take football and we might profit take the Montana card because it's free market, or Rolexes are at free market. A lot of times people are selling them because they need the money. So it's really not the best time to sell. You want to sell because you just want to make profit. You don't want to sell because you have to. Well, I got the Montana, it's worth 100, but I need the money. I'll take 75 for it. Well, that's ideally, if it's worth 100, you want to get 100. So you want to sell it at a time that if I get 100, great. If I don't get 100, I'll wait. That's the best time to sell things. So you're going to profit take. You profit take in stocks. I own Disney. It's 100 now. It went up to 150. Well, I think that's a lot. I don't see there's any more value. You think it's at the top, so you sell it because you go, well, I don't think it's going up much higher than 150. So I will, I'll sell it. I can get back in if I want. I can watch it and see if it goes down, or I can get into Apple or Amazon. So I can get into other stocks. I can sell that to get into another stock that's low that's going up, and I'll profit take until the next stock you buy doesn't go up. I'll buy Apple at 150 and then, wait a minute, it's down to 90. Oops. Now what do? Now you're fucked, right? And so you're really being manipulated and you're playing, and options are the worst. If you do options, you lose them almost 99% of the time. So you're playing stocks and you don't realize the risk. Oh, I'll buy stocks, blue chips. Okay, I'll buy Coca-Cola. How can that not go up? Oh, yeah, sugar's real bad for you. Nobody's buying pop anymore. Stock goes from 100 down to 50. Now, what do? Are you prepared to understand the risk and when you get out? In poker, what I do in poker is I bring, like, if I go down to MGM, it's different in Vegas. But if I go to MGM, I'll take $300 and I'll play 1-2, no limit, hold them. And if I lose the 300, I get up and walk because I'm a damn good player. However, doesn't mean anything if you get pocket aces and the guy flops 3 sevens, you lose. And so you can lose even though you're a good player, even though you get good hands. And you lose. So I give myself, if I can't win with $300, if my luck is not running, then I get up and leave. But I need a leave point. And if I win, I get up $50. Well, I want to get up 1,000, but if I'm getting up and choppy and I'm getting bad cards and I got $50, I get up and leave plus 50 because I understand the risk. And that's how you got to play stocks. You have to know how much to invest, at what point do I get out, and what point do I keep letting it go, and then at what point do I profit take? And that's a very hard thing because that's out of your hands. Poker's me. I'm the one running it. So I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing if I'm in Apple stock or Amazon or Microsoft or any of these. I wouldn't want to be in Microsoft. I don't trust whatchamacallit. Bill Gates, I don't trust him. He's a phony. He didn't invent anything. He just stole everything. He bought other people's, like Excel was Lotus 1, 2, 3. He bought it out. So he didn't invent Excel. Um, so I got to rely on other people. I got to rely on news that I have no idea of. And I got to trust Wall Street, which I can't trust after watching Wall Street and after watching Madoff and all these finance movies. You realize it's all fixed, it's all controlled. And it is not, by the way, a zero-sum game. It is not somebody wins and somebody loses. There could be everybody could lose, like in Madoff, or everybody can win. It's not if I win, if I make $10,000, somebody lost 10,000. It's not how it works. If the company's good and the stock goes up because earnings are going up and I make 10 grand, nobody lost 10 grand. Hopefully a lot of other people are in the same stock and they all made 10 grand. And that's very easily what could happen. You don't need somebody who does not lose for you to make the money. That's bullshit. So you're trying to invest. You're in stocks. You don't have a clue why they're going up and down. You think it's going to be, I'm going to look at cash flow from operations. How's their cash flow? Are they making money? And then I'm going to look at their income statement and see what sales look like versus expense. And then I got to be open to new products or new competition going to hurt my sales or help my sales. And then my expenses, oh, wait, inflation. Oh, here comes tariffs. Well, tariffs are going to raise my expenses, and I might not be able to raise my revenue, as I've said. So with that, what do I do now? So you're looking at how do I tell what my stock's going to do? Well, it's supposed to be based on future earnings, a new contract, a new deal, and then you hope it goes well. So it's hard. So before you get into, I'll just buy stocks because everybody else is in Apple and Amazon and those guys, I better be careful. I've noticed Tesla's dropped like $50 in the last week or so. So you got to be careful. You can't just blindly go in because Bernie Madoff's in it, and my uncle's in Bernie Madoff, and my sister's in Bernie Madoff. So I'm going to go in Bernie Madoff because I trust they know what they're doing, and you can't. You can only trust yourself. So you've got to be very careful if you're playing stocks that the company's earnings are legit, not like Enron. Coca-Cola, now you don't want sugar, so they're all sugar products on diet, but that's not great for you either. Basically, you can have water and tea and coffee. That's about it. So that's what you're looking at. And there's a lot and mostly inflation is going to raise it's going to be the dollar goes down, so their costs will go up, but not necessarily their price. They can't raise their price because their costs went up. This is the point I'm trying to establish. I cannot, if my costs for Canadian Club go up, I can't necessarily raise the price. The market determines the price, not me. Oh, my costs are up, so now my market's up. No. What in fact happens is the cost goes up. I can't add it, and then I go out of business. Now, how are you fit in that stock when the company goes out of business because their costs are too high and they can't sell it? Don't assume because there's inflation and the money's worth less and their costs go up that they're going to be able to pass it on to the consumer. It doesn't work that way. Some they can, but not a lot. Putting your money in the bank, you have to realize that the money's losing value. See, this is the key thing about retirement, about investing. What else did I get? Risk, investment, retirement, gambling. This covers all of it. If this is not good, you're screwed 8 ways from Sunday. And this is the point I keep screaming at. As this loses value, because they'll always inflate, because they'll always find something else to spend it on. They'll always overspend because these idiots running it, the Keynesians, think we can just keep printing. It doesn't matter. We'll just keep printing and we won't go bankrupt, which is bullshit. So if you keep printing it, that's why this goes to this, and then this goes to this, and then this goes to that. I mean, that's the problem. Uh, Once the dollar loses value, I mean, all your investments are fucked unless you're in a real asset, and most importantly, gold and silver. You can still be in a Rolex or a Mantle card because those will keep their value. Because even people with gold will still buy them. Uh, and so that's really what you're looking at. So the risk is the dollar going down. The risk in the stock market, also the company, who's running them. I see management's getting poorer and poorer. From what I can tell, at Tenneco, the management was terrible. They hire me in November and then eliminate my position in February. Who's understanding that? Oh, we didn't understand inflation. We didn't understand we're in a recession. Well, then you shouldn't be managing a company if you don't understand those things. So that's the problem. I see bad management. You don't want to invest in bad management. It's like I pick football games and I do it very, very well. And there's other guys who pick football games who don't do it very well. So if you buy their picks, now you're risking that. Does that handicapper know what he's talking about? Can he explain the risk? Can he explain the games? I keep betting and I keep losing. You know, so I'm risking that who I'm trusting. And then you come in and you win, and we got Titus winning 18 grand. You go, yeah, he knows what he's doing. Titus won 18 grand and showed the picks. So this is the point. And good management. And so is there good management at these companies that you're investing in? That's why I tend to stay away from stocks. These gold and silver stocks, you better be careful with. The idea is as gold goes up, the stocks go up. That's how it used to be. But the problem is what you're not looking at. And this is why I look at all the variables. The variable is their inventory is being depleted by the Russians and Chinese and Indians. All the BRICS countries want gold, are going to the gold mines because COMEX is never made to be a store to buy the gold at. COMEX is always just a price fixing tool with derivatives. So if I'm the Chinese and I want 20,000 tons of gold, I can't get it at COMEX, so I got to go to the New Mountain Mining, the largest mine in the world, and I've got to go to them and say, hey, I need 20,000 tons of gold, and you got to mine it, if they can even mine it. So when they do their inventory, they've just lost 20,000 tons. Is their stock really going to go up? Because you're betting the inventory goes up, but you're not calculating in the inventory has gone down, and therefore 100 times 100's one thing, but now it's 20 times 200. So they've lost the 100 of inventory went down to 20. So even though the price goes up, they have a lot less inventory, and their stock price won't go up. And stocks are an auction like eBay. Only, not every stock goes up, and certain stocks do. But in the marketplace, everybody's buying Nvidia or Apple or Amazon. Nobody's buying Newmont Mining or gold or silver stocks because they've been talked out of it by their financial advisors because they don't know what they're doing. And so they need help. And they go to the financial advisor who wants to make commission and wants to say, look how good I am. And I'll put you in Apple, and Apple will make 10%. So look, aren't I intelligent? You made 10 grand, I made you money in Apple. Oh, geez. Wow, Art, you're fantastic. What a financial planner I got. She scammed this lady at work got scammed by a financial advisor because he told her to sell the silver for an annuity. Oh, I get 9%. Wow, silver doesn't move. And then when silver didn't move, so she sells it because it's not moving, and she gets into an annuity. And she says to me, well, he made me a lot of money before. So I think, yeah, he don't know anything. He's a salesman. If he's telling you to got to gold to silver, he's an idiot. That's the bottom line there. He's an idiot for telling you to do that. So she says, well, the silver won't go in my lifetime. The dollar won't go out in my lifetime. And again, I'm thinking, well, you have what, 1 year expectancy in your life? Because it's exactly what's happening. the dollar's going out and gold's going to the moon and silver's going with it. And your annuity is going out because it's in dollars. So the basic principle there is to understand the money is worthless, gold and silver isn't. And then that's your risk on top of everything. So the risk in the market is competition comes in and eats your market share. Look at NVIDIA. Everybody was in NVIDIA, and then the Chinese came out with a AI that's 1,000 times better for free. Well, what happened to your NVIDIA can't handle that competition, so they're getting killed in their stock. It's always about competition, unless you're J.P. Morgan and you do monopoly. Although he's not the only bank, even in the gold, there's still Goldman Sachs and him and a few other. I think Wells Fargo or Chase or something are also bullion banks. There's 8 of them. So understanding your risk is very important to how much you bet. That's why if you're at the casino or betting football, it's risky to win, and when you do win, then you want to take your profits. Oh, I took the risk and I won. All I hear are these idiots who keep betting these. Oh, I had 500 to 1 or the money. I bet the money line because I got 700 to 1. So if I took the 20-point underdog and I bet $10, I'd win 700. Even though those are shitty odds, probably the odds are probably 2,000 to 1 that the shitty underdog is going to be the good team. So there's a lot of risk in sports and casinos. So that's why I say when you get your money, you take your profit. The investment itself is how to use your money to make you money. That's what an investment is. So you look around, and like I said, casino, sports betting, stocks, bonds, 401ks are nothing but stocks. Leaving your money in the bank, getting a 9% annuity, buying a house is an investment. You hope it's going to go up, but it's not. And again, the biggest risk is the dollar itself. So that gets really sophisticated, understanding that the dollar itself is the risk. Nobody thinks it's the risk. What do I hear? Well, the U.S. has had money for 200 years and da 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 da. This is my friend. She's got a CPA. Well, the money can't go out, and they'll just keep printing it. And I go, that's the point. See, this is where we have a huge advantage being Austrians over the rest of the world, because they don't understand that the money is worthless. That's really the key to it. The money has no value, right? It doesn't have value in 1971, but it's not really noticeable. But then you keep looking. I think I showed you a picture of a grocery cart. I'll show you again. So here's how much food $20 would buy you. Well, I guess this is 70s and 80s. So in 1970, $20 would fill your cart. In, let's say, 1980 or 1990, $20 would half fill your cart. And now you can put 4 items in for $20 today. That is not prices of the food going up. That is the cost. That is your dollar having less value. So therefore it buys less, right? So your 20 doesn't buy as much today as it did in 1970. And that's the point of the risk that you don't understand. How can you? You're not really taught about it. And that's what they don't teach you, and that's what you don't know, and that's the risk that's unseen. You don't realize that's a huge risk, but that's a perfect example showing you exactly what's happening to your money. So, I mean, now so what does that do? It takes more money to fill your cart up. Now it's probably $100 to buy what you could for 20. It's probably more. Probably to fill your cart like that would be $200 now, depending on what you bought. If you bought the exact same items, it might be $300 if you bought a lot of meat and stuff like that. So that's really the problem. Your can't get these damn things clean. Oh, one thing I did have a DVD. I was watching 24 DVD, and it started freezing on me. I said, "Shit, it's a really good part of it." And then I took the DVD out, and then I used this. This is like for my eyeglasses, right? And I saw on the DVD where it was like a fingerprint, and I was able to clean it, and it worked. So, FYI, use a glass cleaner, eyeglass cleaner, and it'll help your DVDs if they get that. Because now you're going to DVDs because there's so many commercials on Tubi and Pluto and just regular TV that you're like, screw it, I can't sit through. I turn on The Gambler and there's 6 commercials, and then they show 5 minutes and 6 commercials. I can't watch it. Anyway, so you've got to understand the risk. You've got to understand there is risk. It's hidden risk, though, on you. Interest rates are hidden risk. What season of 24 are you on now? Well, I watched 4, 5, and 6, and then I went all the way to 9, and because it's not as long, but it's good. And then I'm going to do 7. I'll start that next, and then I just bought 8 on YouTube for like $7. There's this disc replay store, but they never seem to have season 8. So I just went. I don't care about season 1. I thought it was stupid. I have season 2, and I didn't like season 3. And then I got 4, 5, and 6. I like watching 5 because it reminds me of how corrupt the government is. And then, so it's season 9, the one in London. It's funny on that show how they kill, like when your contract's up, they kill you. And they killed Curtis and they killed Bill Buchanan, and then they had to kill Audrey with a very dramatic kill in that last one. And then Jack never dies and Chloe never dies. So it's just funny how the big stars, they all like, okay, when the contract's over, you're going to get killed on the show. We'll kill you. So no, I thought it was good with the drones. I don't know, it's a bit much with the Chinese and the Russians in season 5 and 6 and 8 and 9, and okay, enough of that. But yeah, it's always a philosophy, a moral issue with Jack. He's always, but I got to get the information, so I will torture the guy to get him to talk, but the law says you can't. He says, yeah, but you need the information. And then I love how they always comes down to, well, I either sacrifice the kid or, and I got to get, like it's season 6. So they send Josh Bauer to the oil rig to try to get the device back. And you're like, well, why does it always have to come down to that? Like, it doesn't have to. What if you don't give him the kid? Obviously, he needs the kid to get the device, so don't give him the kid, and then you still can get the device or what they do. And then Jack, they're always working with Jack, and then they start working against them, and it was getting old. It was like, hey, I saw this already in season 5. Yeah, okay, season 6, and they keep working against them. Then they forget all the good stuff he's done. Right? Well, wait, he saved us from nuclear in season 2 and season 4, and he saved us from a nuclear bomb. But let's forget all that. No. He's, and then it's Jack's always right. And you're like, yeah, we know Jack's always right. But you still don't trust Jack after he just saved the planet from the nuclear bomb in season 4. In season 5, you don't trust him. You're going to hand him over to the Chinese, but the Chinese wouldn't hand over the guy. So if we go back to season 4, where the Chinese guy knew where the nuclear bomb was, right? And the Chinese wouldn't hand him over. He's a Chinese citizen. We can't hand him over. But then when it's Jack Bauer's turn, the U.S. says, well, Jack, we got to hand you over. But the Chinese and the Russians, if they're citizens, they won't hand them over. So it's always funny how the U.S. does things really stupidly. But the Chinese, sorry, I know he's got the information you need, but we can't. He's a Chinese citizen. Oh, my God. Anyway, so everything in life's basically risk and reward. I'm watching it out of order. Well, I watched 4, 5, and 6, and then it kind of doesn't have an order, right? You had to watch 5, and then you had to watch 6 because his brother was doing it, and then his brother's in the next season, right? So it was a continuation, but there was no continuation in 7. They went to Washington, and then 9, they're in London, and and then Heller's the president, so there's no continuation. So I just looked at it as it's a lot, 24 episodes. So I thought, I'll watch the last one because it's not as many episodes. And then I can go back to 7. But I really want 8 because it connects 9, 7 and 9, but I don't have it. They didn't have it at the store. And then it was very expensive on eBay for some reason. So I just checked it, and it was like $7. I said, okay, fine. I'll pay for that. And now I notice eBay charging sales tax for everything now. So I bought just a used. Why is there sales tax on a used DVD? I don't get eBay charging sales tax. Are they really charging it, or is it just making money on the side? Do they really pay the sales tax, or are they just charging it and keeping the sales tax? That'd be like me charging sales tax for Teaserking, and then I just keep the money. Thank you for the sales tax, but it's not like I'm going to tax you for my football picks. So it's just I don't know, but I don't know why they're charging me sales tax on videos. Now I'm sure I'll get charged tax on the gold, so I won't buy it because I can go to the store here and get it for free or get it without tax or shipping. You should rewatch the series again. Yeah, it's hard because there's 24 episodes. So that's why I picked 4 and 5, the best ones, and 6. Because it's, it takes you a week to watch them. Because I tell you, you watch 3 or 4, you watch like maybe 2, 4 hours and 4 hour, 2 discs. And it's like, okay, it's just, it's kind of intense. So you just want to, let's see what's happening to gold on YouTube or something. Where did you buy the DVD set? On eBay. I mean, I didn't buy the whole set. I bought some of them at called Disc Replay, which is used DVD. So I could take in a DVD that's used. They'd pay me $2 for it or $1 for it, and then it's on the shelf. And then you could walk in and go, oh yeah, I want that DVD, and you buy it for like $3. Problem is, they don't have a lot of the older ones, and like 24, they had some, but it was mostly season 1 and 2. Mostly because season 1 I didn't like. It got good in 4, 5, and 6. Anyway, so that's where I bought most of them at. But now I can't find 8, so I just go on eBay. But you'd rather go to this Disc Replay. It's much cheaper, but they're more limited in their inventory. And it's hard because there's shelves full of DVDs, but the problem is they're kind of in order, but it's not all that you want to watch, and they're more new ones. So half of them I don't want to watch. Amazon may have it. Maybe Amazon is selling each season separately. Well, that's fine. I bought them separately, but I don't know if Amazon would have been. Maybe they'd be comparable to eBay. I don't like using Amazon that much, but you know, I think it is a. There's certain things that I would buy, like these plastic holders. I would buy on Amazon. I wouldn't buy cards unless they're graded, but I don't know they're better prices. I don't know. There's very few things I would buy on Amazon, and I certainly would not buy clothes because you have no idea what fits anymore. I used to be a large, and now I'm like a 3X or 2X, and it's just because of my shoulders and my chest. These European guys must be really like not muscular, and therefore they make the shirts that a 2X is what an X was, or a large or something. Because I'll find shirts that are large that fit me from 10 years ago, and then I go to the store now and I can't find them. Plus, it's also by brand. Amazon has the complete series for $3.95 Canadian. Well, there you go. So if you want the whole series, but again, at my store, it was $3. I think it was $3.33 for each. So day two was $3. Day four, because I don't need it new as long as I can see it. So I think I got six of them. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So for six of them, I probably paid $25, $30. I didn't want one. I didn't want three, and the only one I'm missing is 8, which I just got for $7. It doesn't matter. As long as the DVD works, you're fine. Hey, David. Good morning. We'll try these video replay stores that because the discs are fine, but they don't have. They're much cheaper. Did you see Trump fighting with the Ukraine president? Yeah, they want the Ukraine president. The Ukraine people want to impeach the Ukraine president. I thought he was way out of line. It shows you how stupid the Zelensky is. He's just a comedian, and he's arguing with Trump like it's sort of the way Daria was with me. I mean, Daria, I'm taking, or Jenna was with me. I'm taking care of you, and it was the stupidest thing. She was like yelling back at, or raising her voice, or talking back, or like, my name's not Jenna. It's actually her real name's Yevhena. That's on her passport, but she always said, "Call me Jenna," which is her, and that's it in American. So she said, "My name's Yevhena, and I've been calling you Jenna for 10 years." And I couldn't even pronounce Yevhena, but now I see it on her passport. But she's bitching at me for that, which was like Zelensky was bitching. I just think the war is very toxic and very stressful, and you've been living it for 3 years. And Trump had it nailed. You're making this war last longer. You're killing millions of your own people, and he was right. I would have liked to saw Trump with Hitler. Adolf, what are you doing, man? You're sending people to the gas chambers. That would have been a very interesting exchange, Trump against Hitler, or Stalin for that matter. So yeah, I mean, but Trump finally nailed it. So that's why he's trying to end the war without Zelensky. He's like, okay, Putin, what do we want? Okay, I'll give you that. We get this, end the war, stop fighting. Because I think it's really taking a toll, not only on the Russians, but on the Ukrainians and the rest of Europe. Europe's going broke. They keep giving money to Zelensky. What does he do with it? He just pockets it. It's in his bank account. He's got houses in Florida and a few other countries, and they don't have a chance of winning. It's like Biden, a bunch of little kids running the government, spending the money and blowing it up. So yeah, I was glad to see Trump step up for it. Now, I was watching something on Trump this morning about the gold being stolen. The U.S. government stole it. The Fort Knox gold was stolen. Now, this is Mises, which is, I know, Austrian. Von Mises is Austrian. I did not learn from von Mises. My guy was Austrian. I learned a little more from Adam Smith and Say's Law and stuff like that. But the gold was not stolen. It was sold to China. We rehypothecated it, which means it's like, all right, David, I'm gonna sell you this card, or you're gonna rent it out, whatever. And so you give me 100 grand, and I'll give you the card, but I'll hold the card. So it didn't take your possession. So if you come to me and I go, look, I've got the Montana rookie, but I'm not telling you is it's David's. It's not me. And here's your card, David, but I'm holding it. That's just what they're doing with the Golden Fort Knox. So I can say it's mine, but it really isn't. It's really David's. And that's what they did with the gold. They sold it to China. It didn't get, how could you have stolen the gold from Fort Knox? Who could have stolen the gold? Nobody. If the gold's not there because it got shipped to Germany and it got shipped to China and probably got shipped to Russia and India and all these countries, because the Keynesians running the U.S. were too stupid to realize that, oh, it's a pet rock, or, it's not real. It's not, it has no value now. So we'll get rid of it. The UK did the same thing, and so did Canada. They dumped their gold, and you're like, these people are in charge of your finances. These people are so stupid, it's unbelievable. So I haven't watched it yet, but it's basically the U.S. government stole it. Here's the clash you were talking about with Zelensky. I saw it yesterday, and they're asking to impeach the guy, which he should be. This one is a curious one. I see Gene Hackman died yesterday. And this goes into my retirement, which I'll talk about. So, death of Gene Hackman. He's in his 90s. He's got a cane. He's got his wife with him. And this is, do you have quality of life at this point, right? You're 90 years old. What's the quality of your life? And now they're saying they don't think it was natural causes. They think somebody killed him. They found him dead. They found the wife dead. They found a dog dead. And they're kind of like, but they died in two separate rooms, and it just looks fishy. So don't know who killed them, don't know the reason, but again, that's the problem. So again, we're looking at, so we got Fort Knox where they sold the gold. So it's a great fort, but they got the money by taking your gold, and you had to give it, confiscating your gold. Now that will not happen now because nobody has gold apparently, except for us. And if you're going to compensate, you're going to go after Bitcoin. You're going to go after the ETF gold. So the ETF, I don't know how many ounces they have. Let's check that out. I love doing this in the middle of the show. So Hoover Dam's built in 31 to 36, which did give Bugsy Siegel supply. They gave him demand. So he had the big casino, and then that was the supply, but could they even afford his casino? And it was in the middle of, how do you get people there? Did they have cars in 1936? I think so, but you're in the middle of a depression, and I think he built it in 40 or 41. You're in the middle of a depression. How the fuck are you? Nobody has money to go to the casino. So I thought that was interesting. Now, how many ounces? How many ounces of gold does GLD ETF have? And I'm going to change it. How many ounces of physical gold? You always got to say physical because they'll count the paper. The Spider Gold Shares ETF holds 1/10 of an ounce of gold bullion for each share. So you think you're buying gold. The gold is held in London good delivery bars that weighed 400 ounces. That's not the question I asked. I said, how many ounces of physical gold does the ETF have? Let's see. Gold is an exchange traded fund that provides investors with exposure to gold. That's a Ponzi scheme that I added. GLD is a good option for investors who value liquidity and convenience over physical ownership. So these are people that like to be scammed. This is how they sell it. They're saying, well, you don't need a safe and you don't need insurance and it's liquid. So what it is it's a stock, but you don't have ownership of it. Gold is more accessible options for investors with smaller budgets. I'll buy a tenth of an ounce of gold. So profit, would you rather have the gold bars in your house or an ETF, right? Gold is backed by physical gold, which is held in vaults in London and New York. That's the question, is how much gold do they have? They're not answering my question. I don't want gold shares. Does GLD hold physical gold? Why is this not coming up in my search? Yeah, Spider Gold shares. GLD holds physical gold in secure vaults. Oh, as opposed to insecure vaults? GLD is an exchange traded fund that allows investors to participate in the gold market without needing a store or transport the physical gold. GLD holds physical, the gold is insured and audited regularly. Of course, it's audited. The trust sells gold to pay expenses, which reduces the amount of gold backing each share over time until it's not backed by anything, but it won't matter. You can't get it anyway. What is the largest physical gold ETF? Spider Gold Shares was launched in 2000. It's currently has assets under management in the order of $75 billion in the form. Okay, here we go. 880 metric tons of gold held at the different depositories. This is written January 13th. So they got 880 tons of gold. So they're not going to take your gold. They're going to take the gold out of the ETFs and say, sorry, boys, we need it. And that's 880 tons, which is nothing. And then, so you see what they do. They got 880 tons, and then it's 1/10 or 1/100th. So when you buy the ETF, you're getting 1/100th of that ounce of gold. So you want to take deliveries. Oh, yeah, I bought 20 ounces. I'd like to get the gold. And they're going to say, sorry, we don't have it. It's gone. That's how they all steal from you. They take the gold off the ETF and they sell it. And that's how they get their management fees and everything else. And by the way, I was in an ETF for like about 3 or 4 months and gold went up like $30, $40. And I thought, oh, I must have made a lot because it's 2 or 3 times. And I made like $100. And I said, what the fuck is this? So it's a Ponzi scheme. So don't get involved with ETFs. If you want to be in gold, you buy physical. You don't worry about, because you're going to pay a lot in fees on an ETF. It's a total scam. You're not buying it to get the physical gold. That doesn't happen. So that's the biggest killer of it. So again, that's a risk that you don't know. So as we talk about it, so we know Fort Knox, if they have any gold, it's not even ours. I doubt they have any because they sold it. They wanted to go. Donna Pelosi wanted to make money. Madoff wanted to make money. Retirement. So as I talk, the hardest part of retirement is the fact your whole life you went to a job and you got a paycheck and you're used to it. Oh, every Friday or every other Friday I get my paycheck and I pay my bills and then I go have a nice dinner, take a vacation, whatever. And when you retire, Well, of course, profit the bars. Absolutely. That's my point about ETFs. You don't own anything in the ETF. That's why I tell you must buy physical because they'll never give you the gold out of the ETF. So you have the ETF, and when the dollar collapses, what are you going to have? Nothing. So in retirement, like I said, you're used to a paycheck. Now you're not getting a paycheck because you're retired. Uh, are you getting money from a pension? Now I had that opportunity when I worked at Canadian Club, and I was working there, and they sold the business to somebody else. I think Dr. Pepper or somebody. And so when I hit 59, I was given an option. We can give you $300 a month forever, or we can give you a lump sum of 25,000. And I took the lump sum and went and bought $25,000 worth of gold with it. So I again Rumpelstiltskin and took it. Now, I guess if you're at a job for a while and they're going to give you a couple $1,000s a month, maybe, but as the inflation goes, it buys less and less, as I showed you. So that's what some people used to do, and I don't think it's offered now. This pension now they do a 401k. So what they've switched is where you would maybe get $1,000 a month forever until you died, which would have paid your bills at that point. So that's the income you would have got. But now I get Social Security, so I am getting money in. But now it's a 401k, and now it's well, you buy stock and we'll match it. We'll give you buy 5% and put it in a mutual fund, and we'll match 5%. So that's how you're making the money up front. The problem is it's in stock. You don't want it in stock. It's worthless. Um, Gold ETFs are stocks, right? Yeah, an ETF is an electric traded fund. So it's a mutual fund and it's got gold in it. And it's supposed to be tracking the price of gold, but it's not redeemable gold. The ETF, you're never getting the gold out of it. Like I said, maybe, if China central bank buys ETFs for the gold, then they say, I want the gold, they would get it. A big central bank would get gold out of it. Did you see they got 800 tons? How long is that going to last? Not long, because these people want 200-300 tons. I mean, China's got 60,000 tons. They got 800 tons. I think it was 800. Yeah, 880 tons. So, but me and you could never, we could say, I want the gold delivered. We never get it. And now it's like 1/20th of an ounce of gold is what the ETF is. So who knows what they're charging you. And it's a lot of maintenance and a lot of management fees that you're getting fucked on. Just buy the gold. Go to the coin store, buy an ounce of gold, put it in your safe, and you're done. There's no shipping. There's no tax. There's no insurance. You lock it up in a safe, and there's no management fees. And it's the decision that's the least risky for you, and it's the best investment you can make. So when you check the boxes, risk and gold, 0. Investment, 100%. Retirement, 100%. Gambling, 0. And we don't care. Fort Knox and Trump has got nothing to do with it. So it checks all the boxes of the perfect retirement thing, the perfect investment. Now you can make more in Bitcoin. You could, if you know when to sell and you know why you're buying and you know why you're selling. If you buy Amazon stock, you can see what's happening. Are they still growing? No, their stock is going down now because there's no more growth. People have adjusted to not going to malls and buying cans of soup from Amazon or whatever. But how much money are they making? Are they making a lot of money on the deliveries? Because the price, they still have to compete with other stores. So, okay, so you've got Amazon stock. Is it going up or down? You look at their financials, you listen to the news. They have Amazon Prime because they think that's going to make money, but I don't know if that is. Has everybody got money to run and buy Amazon Prime? I got Netflix, Tubi and Pluto are free. I got YouTube. Do I really need net? Do I need Amazon? What do you have on Amazon? The same freaking movies that's on Netflix and YouTube and everything else. So I'm not sure, but that's supposed to be a profit. This is going to add to our financial statement, but that's not what you're doing. That's like GM doing it. No, GM, you make cars and trucks. What are you doing in the services? What is it? You know, apps. What are you doing in apps selling movies? You don't know anything about it. You're a car company. What does Amazon know about it? Nothing. Amazon is a delivery service. Actually, he was selling books, and now he's just, if you want water, I'll deliver it for you. It's got to be, you don't make money on that. You got to pay the gas. You got to pay that. And he's lucky the gas hasn't gone up. The oil prices stayed down because they're price fixing that too. So that's a good price fix. But that's ending. Once the oil goes up, if that goes up, then Amazon's screwed. So you got to keep your eye on that as a risk. But that's what you're looking at. So you buy Amazon, you got to read the financials, understand the competition, understand, why isn't anybody else doing what Amazon does? Or maybe that's what DoorDash is. Who the hell why would anybody buy stock in DoorDash? Who's stupid enough to use DoorDash? You're telling me you can't get in the car, drive a mile to a Wendy's or a Taco Bell or to a Coney Island. You got to sit at home and get the food delivered to you. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. If all my gold turns into 100,000 an ounce and I'm a millionaire, I'm still going to go get the ribs and cook and go to the restaurant and then bring it home. I am still not going to have DoorDash. That's ridiculous. Who knows how they cook it? Who knows what you're getting? I mean, you got to be kidding me. Anyway, so that's your risk. You do have risk in the stock market. Is the company going to be strong? Is the ownership going to be there? Is, the whole model going to stay? Competition, everything else. You don't have that in gold. There's no competition. So gold is zero risk. Stocks are high risk. The dollar is extremely high risk because of printing the money, the inflation. The annuity is high risk, as is the real estate trust. As we saw in attack on Wall Street, the guy went to zero. So you see all that, and that's the whole point. Those are all in paper. So as the dollar goes out, all those I just said, stocks, bonds, money in a bank, in an annuity or a real estate trust, is all in dollars. The risk is the dollar. And that's what I keep shouting about. That's the inflation, is you're printing this and losing all its value. So all your assets in this are losing it. This asset, however, even though it's in this and it will go down, will then, because it's like a mantle in Montana, will keep its value. So will this keep its value? It'll keep its value better than the dollar, as will a Rolex. And of course, gold and silver will not only keep its value, but go up many times in value, because now you won't price it in dollars, you'll price it in gold. Gold is money. That's what we did from 1879 to 1913. It was gold that ran the world, and we had the biggest productivity gains ever in that time period. So that's the thing. So that's where there's no risk in gold. It's an investment because you can make it's security, as Egon says. If you put your 100 grand in gold, you can't lose it, and the money is going to zero. But it's also an investment from the standpoint of it will go up in value, which I don't know how Alligator just doesn't understand that concept. If there's a lot of demand for this, the price goes up. If there's a lot of demand for gold, it's not just the dollar going down making the gold price go up. It's these options and these derivatives and the demand of all the central banks buying it that's pushing the gold price up. So in that standpoint, it is an investment because it's making you money. So Egon says, You're not losing, but he says it's an investment too. Alligator says, no, it's not an investment. It's just since the dollars are going down, gold goes up. There is no correlation to that at all. It just takes more dollars to buy the gold, but gold doesn't go up as the dollar. So when the dollar goes to zero, what's gold going to? Well, there goes your theory, alligator, because you can't make a theory. What's your thesis that the dollar goes to zero, gold's what? 100,000 an ounce? I mean, if the dollar's out, then gold's the reciprocator. What is it? For retirement, gold is the king. I mean, your Montana cards are good if they stay, but your gold will always have a strong value, much stronger than the dollar. So you're looking for an asset. So as you retire, you take a 1 ounce coin and you go to the gold store and say, give me 5,000, 10,000. Well, you won't even be getting money because that won't be there. You'll be getting something. And so that will keep the value. And that's really what you need in retirement is you need money to buy things. So gold will not lose value. The dollar loses value. And that's the whole thought. That's the whole premise. Gambling, as we know, football, poker, blackjack, and craps, very high risk. You're not gambling in gold. You are gambling, as we saw in Attack on Wall Street, the real estate trust. Guy puts 60 grand in and he loses it all. What's that? Gambling. Now, he didn't lose because the dollar went down. He lost because the housing market crashed. Because the idiot, a financial advisor, puts him in housing in the middle of the housing collapse. So that was high risk. The stock market crashed. That was high risk. You didn't realize it. So you are gambling. I would rather bet on a football game than put my money in the stock market. Because of my skill, I'm going to pick a winner. I nailed the Super Bowl. I don't want anything to do in stocks. I don't, it's all phony because they're just printing money, putting it in. So I really have no desire to play the stock market. The only way I played it was I bought gold, like I said, because I figured out the gold fix at 10 o'clock. So I wait till 10:30 as it goes down, 10:30, then it starts going back up. And then, that's when I buy it. And then at that point, I watch it go 50, 60, 70 cents, $1, and I'm out. But I bought 1,000 shares and I made, I'd make $700 in one day. It's fine with me. It's free money. And that's what I did. That's how I bought stocks. I wouldn't buy a stock. I used to own Coca-Cola when I was real young, but I'd rather be in baseball cards and gold than stocks. It's a much safer, better investment that can't be inflated. The dollar can be inflated, which will affect the stocks and the financial statements. As I showed you, this 99 count Barry card, right? Barry 99. You can't inflate it. There's only 99 of them. So this can't be inflated. The reason you want the Montana card is it's got to be a PSA 10 because they're very rare. And it's got to be a 10. It's got to be graded. So once you get that, then you're like, oh, okay. So it is very limited. There's not a lot of risk in buying a 10. That's why people pay a lot for the 10. So you're really not gambling in the card. You did gamble with Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds where they did steroids and all of a sudden the demand went out and the price went down. But normally, like if you go buy Willie Mays now, Hank Aaron, Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, if you buy those cards, you have no problems. You're going to be fine. There's no risk in those cards. But I take you to assets where they can't print more. And that's why I say get out of the dollar, because all this is risk because they keep printing it. Even now they're printing 36, $37 trillion debt. That's a risk. That affects this. So this will go out very soon. And all your assets will go down because it's priced in that. And then they'll come up with USD number 2. And in USD number 2, like I showed you, the Israeli, it was, what was it? Israel number 8. So it's their 8th one. And they keep inflating. And it's the same story. They keep inflating. It keeps going to zero. And they come out with new money that it's not backed by gold. So it's going to go to zero. anytime the dollar's not backed by gold in whatever country you're in, it's going to zero. 100% of the time, it's a fact because the government, they're going to keep spending, so they'll have to keep printing more and more money. We were watching that one idiot yesterday, DB Mooney or whatever from whatever RD Cooper, whatever, and he says there'll always be inflation because the government costs. No, there'll always be inflation because they're printing, because it's not backed by anything. So you're always going to keep printing the money because there's no limit, because you've taken the limit, which is gold, off of it. And you're always, even if you don't have government spending, they're going to steal it, right? Look at all these. Look at Donna Pelosi, all these people in the White House and the government. They're all multi-millionaires. They printed the money and they put it in the stocks, and they printed the money to make the stocks go up. So even if there's no government reason for it, they're still going to steal it because they can, because there's no fixed amount. You can print as much as you want. And that's the problem. So government will spend. So anytime you're not on the gold standard, you cannot stay in any dollar assets. Even if you make money in it, like Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin a risk? Absolutely. Well, why is it why do you think I try to talk you off of Bitcoin? You think I don't care? If it made me money, I'd be buying it. I got Montana cards and I got gold. I mean, why do you think I have it? Because I've taken the less risk for the most return on investment. There's no risk in gold, and there's a huge return, as we've seen, right? In Bitcoin, is there risk? Absolutely. It just fell from 106,000 to 82. What is that? Why did it go down? Does anybody know why it went down? Because I have no clue. I don't know. I don't even know what it is, and I don't know how it goes up or down. You think it's like Madoff? Do you think it's being bid up and down like a Montana card on eBay? No. You don't even know what it is. It's not even real. It's a computer thing. So it's digital, so it's not worth anything. And then, it's digital gold. Oh, why are you using gold? Why don't you call it digital fiat currency? Oh, I'm trying to sell it in the Ponzi scheme, so I'm trying to make it look like it's worth something. There's no value in it. It's not worth anything. You got Larry Fink involved. Good luck playing with him. So Bitcoin, as it just shows you, went down to 82. Why? You have no idea. And you don't know where the bottom is. That's the risk. Maybe it goes to 60. Maybe it goes to 40. Maybe it goes to 110. It's risk. You don't know, right? And that's really the problem. It's like playing craps. You don't know what's going to come out. Is it going to be a 7, 11, a 6? You can hit your point. Is it a 9? You don't know. They're throwing the dice. That's the risk. You have no idea what the dice are going to roll out at. You have no idea where Bitcoin's going. Is it going to 0? Is it going to 1 million? You don't know, but it could go to either, because it isn't any, it's not real, and it's based on people putting money into it to make the price go up, or they're selling to take the price down. Well, guess what? We're in a recession. People are losing their jobs. Good luck trying to find one. And then prices are going up. You've killed the value of the dollar. You've inflated it. So with all that being said, people will need money. So they're going to sell their assets. They're going to sell stocks. They're going to sell money, take money out of the bank, and they're going to sell whatever assets they have, which is Bitcoin and baseball cards and stuff like that. Whatever asset they can get their hand on, they're going to sell to get money. So definitely stocks are right at the top. And Bitcoin is probably what's happening now. But this is the whole world. This is not the U.S. So Montana's more the U.S. than the world. But Bitcoin's the world. And Bitcoin, when the Russian mafia wants the money, they're going to get it because they're the ones in charge. Profit. Bitcoin could easily drop to 50,000. We have no idea what it is. Can you explain what it is? It's digital garbage. We don't know what it is. That's the problem. I know what this is, and I can put it in my hand. That's the problem with Bitcoin. You can't put it in your hand. You don't know what it is. It's not a coin. I don't know why they call it a coin. It's not a coin. It's digital currency. It's not currency because I can't go to the grocery store and use it. I can't go on a vacation with it. I can't go to a restaurant with it. Maybe a pizza place. There's a couple of oddball places. You can't go buy a car with it, buy a house with it. So it ain't currency, which leaves it as, what is it? And I love when people say, well, I have Bitcoin. And it's like, well, good for you. So when it goes to zero, then you'll say, oh, I didn't buy it. Or I bought it at $1. I love that one. Yeah, I bought it at $1 and I still hold it. Nobody in their right mind would buy anything for $1 and still hold it. All right. Not if it goes up to 100 grand. You'd be selling it. If I bought something for $1 and it went to 10,000, how do you not sell it at that point? So that's why I think it's all bullshit that I bought it at $1 and it's 10 grand and but I didn't sell it. Now it's 100 grand. Look at me. That's bullshit. If you're doing that, you're too stupid to invest because you're not taking your profit, as I'm saying, because it's very risky. You don't understand it's risky, and you don't understand to take your profit and look for something else that's low. So if I did that, I would sell it in a heartbeat and go buy gold and silver with it, because that's about, the demand's up here, the price is down here, and it's about to take off. This is about to go up to there. So why do I want to be in Bitcoin? Am I going to be safe in Bitcoin? No, I can't even explain it. It's what is it? It's a computer language or something. I don't get it. I don't get the advantage of it. So the best advantage they come up with is if you're traveling on an airplane and you fly to Europe, you can have exposure to it in Europe. No, you can't. You can't. You sell, okay, so I got a Bitcoin. It's worth, what is it, 80 grand now, and I fly to Italy. Okay, so what does my Bitcoin do for me? I can't use it at a grocery store or restaurant. I can't pay the hotel in it. Oh, I can sell part of it. Well, how am I going to do that? Oh, I can sell $10,000 of my Bitcoin. Right, so how do I get the money? Well, you got to download it to your bank, and then it'll be in your account, and then you can do an ATM. How is that different than having 20 grand in my checking account where I could do my ATM just like that? Oh, it's like, where is that an advantage? I can get to it. I can get to my bank in other countries also. I can go into my, Chase account and go, oh, here it is. I can use my Chase credit card anywhere. What do I need? I can use that. I can't use the Bitcoin. That's your big advantage. That's your only advantage. Well, wait, you don't get interest on it. That's what they tell us about gold. There's no interest. There's no dividend. There's no interest or dividend on Bitcoin. The difference is I hold the gold and silver. So Bitcoin to me is like an ETF. It's not real. You don't actually have any gold. You don't hold any gold. And they take all these management fees and all these other fees. So you're getting maybe 10 cents on the dollar on your ETF. Gold I got. Gold's physical. I can use it if I wanted to, and I have taken it to Europe and given it to Jenna, but we could have went and found a coin store or a jewelry store, and they would have taken the gold and given me whatever. I don't know. I would have got a fair amount, but I would have taken a quarter ounce that I know is worth 800 and hopefully got around, 700-800 US for it. But I could have spent the gold there. Believe me, people would take the gold. I don't know if I could pay for the hotel in gold, but I probably, if you had an intelligent guy, I think this is real gold. Sure, you can pay for your room in gold. As long as you give them more, you give them a half ounce, it's $1,500, and the room's like 1,100. Here's a half ounce of gold. I'm sure you'd take it. Why wouldn't they? You'd be an idiot not to. So that's my point. we don't even know what Bitcoin is. It's not, you can't hand it to somebody. How could you pay for it at a restaurant? Uh, there's no debit or credit cards with it. Um, so this is what I don't. So I'm at the hotel. I want to pay with Bitcoin. How do I pay it? I don't have Bitcoin to pay him. What do I transfer it to him? Okay, Holiday Inn. Here's so much in Bitcoin to pay for the room. Is he going to accept it? No, because we don't even know the value of it is. So that's the thing. And even then, they're getting screwed, and they don't even know what the value of this is. Right? They take $100. They charge $100 for the room, and you give them $100. But even that isn't worth $100. Um, so that's really the whole key to it. So that's why I wouldn't be. That's why I'm not in Bitcoin. Basically, I'm in things that I can hold, gold and silver, that are physical, and I can hold them. And if I need to sell them to make money, I can sell them. And that's the thing. So this not being graded, I can't get 100,000. Maybe I can get 1,000, 2,000 for, because it's not graded. So I could go to the gold store and say, here, how much gold can I get for that? Maybe he won't take it because it's not graded. But if it was a PSA 10 and I'm showing him $100,000 in these auctions, I would think he would take it and give me gold for it because it's already graded. There's no risk on his end. And he can see the value because of eBay. But I can't do that with Bitcoin. And how much gold could I get for the Bitcoin? I don't know, because we don't know what it's worth. So that's the problem with it. All right. So Trump, what's he up to? So he wants to end the war because it's expensive. Wars are expensive, and people are dying. Now, are our people dying? No, but his wife's Ukrainian, I believe. So that's where he wants to, he doesn't like to see he's into productivity. He wants to make money. So he says, well, this is stupid. I'm losing money in the war. It's costing me. There's no revenue coming in. People are dying. So I'm losing customers, right? And that's really the problem. So he doesn't want that. And he doesn't see the sense of it. If you look at wars, they make no sense. I mean, what was Hitler doing and Stalin? They were killing their people anyway. So what was the point of World War One, World War Two? There was no point in it. World War One was the Archduke of Princip of Austria-Hungary, I think, got killed. So it was revenge. But if they had Jack Bauer, he'd have just went and killed them, and that would have been it. So I don't know why you need a war. Nobody wins. It's expensive. There's no revenue in it, except for when Hitler stole the gold. Of all the guys, Hitler's smart enough to steal the gold. Or at least we knew he stole gold. Anyway, that's what you have. So when you hear all this gold coming from England, the U.S. needs it to pay the derivatives on COMEX. We have to settle it up. We don't have any gold. Clearly, there's no gold in Fort Knox. Nobody stole it. How could you steal it? It was sold to China, but they don't want to admit that. Who stole it? Nobody stole it. So that's what you have. You have all this gold, and you need gold to pay derivatives because you're playing COMEX and you're playing a dangerous game, very risky. And now they got to pay up, and they're going to lose a ton of money because they need the physical, and now it's more expensive, and they can't buy it cheaper. And so they're in big trouble. So that's where Trump's at. But he's got trouble with the $37 trillion debt now. What's he going to do? How do you pay it off? And really, all you do is cancel your money into gold, and because you're getting killed on the interest. That's why they want to lower the interest rate, to cut the interest. But by doing that, you don't really raise inflation. Inflation is not related to the interest rate because it's not related to prices. And so you can make gold more, but you've got to have a mechanism to keep buying gold. You might have to deal with Putin and buy some of his gold, or Xi and buy some of his gold, which I don't know that they'll give you any, especially they don't want the dollar. Here, I'll give you a bunch of these for gold. They don't want that. Jack Bauer would have ended World War II in 24 hours. Well, that's what he would have had to do. He would have needed Chloe, though, although they wouldn't have had computers back then. It would have been difficult, but she'd still be there. Um, so, but that's why are we having wars in the first place? Who came up with this concept? Well, let's get a bunch of guys in uniform and buy arms and rockets and cannons and tanks and let's go invade this other thing. But you can see the Roman Empire, the Romans. Why were the Germanians fighting the Romans? Well, did they think they could win? No. Well, what are they? They don't want to give up their land. Well, why are they even fighting? Just keep your border and off you go. So I don't know. It's a very bad situation. It's funny with nukes. Nobody will ever use them because the belief is if I fire on you, you fire back on me, and we destroy each other. So there's no point in that. There's nothing to gain, right? So why would I do it? Yeah, I'll kill you. You're going to kill me, and then there's no winner. What's the point? And that's really what you got. But it is funny, oh my God, it's nukes. The other thing I was watching, this is a basic comment. So I'm watching 24 season 9. And at the end, the Chinese guy has the U.S. fire on the Chinese ship with directions. So how they type it in and then goes to the submarine and the captain reads it. They want us to shoot, boom, boom. Now, if you follow orders, you just do it. You don't question the order. Now, here's my point. There's got to be a code to know it's legit, like 1942 or like Adam Smith or AS on the bottom. Have something that proves it's real. So it's got to have AS on the bottom of the transmission. And if it doesn't, it's fake. And I'm not going to fire the missiles because you can't just get an order in a submarine and fire. You got to, because you need to make sure they're real. This is the problem with submarines, right? So you've got to make sure it's real. And I don't want to get a text. It's like getting a text out of, okay, fire at this, No, you didn't have the Adam Smith at the end. So therefore, it's not legit. And that's what you got to do. And I think that's what we're looking for. Profit on your thing with the gold is you want to see the Adam Smith to know, yeah, it's legit. And the same thing I question with, I don't really question it with Jenna because I met her. But even if you meet somebody, doesn't mean it's all legit. But that's what you want to verify. Is it real? So my advice is to understand and ask the question, why is gold 2,900? Why are they using derivative? At least understand there's paper and physical gold. That's why I put on my title, paper gold, because it's not physical, it's derivatives. And you have to understand that's why the price of gold and silver are so low. And then the question is, are they going to break it? Are they going to get rid of COMEX and go to a physical market like eBay? That's the question that you should delve from that paper. Paper gold, well, it's not real, it's derivatives. If the demand goes up, the price doesn't go up. Okay, so we're kind of screwed, but how do we get rid of COMEX? Competition, BRICS. BRICS is the answer. Yes, if BRICS Bricks comes in, they're competing. Now it's no longer monopoly, and they all have gold, and they're buying it, and everybody joining Bricks is buying it. Oh, wait, I remember. Low supply, high demand makes price go up and gets a real price, and that's what we're going to do. So therefore, I'm not buying. This price is too low because it's just derivatives, and it will end because of what Bricks is doing. Okay, so now it's cheap, and now I'm going to buy it, but I got to buy physical, not paper, because they can flood the market with paper gold. They can't flood the market with physical gold, and that's the key. So when you're doing an ETF, you got to be an idiot to buy a gold ETF or a silver ETF because you're buying a watered down market that's holding the price down. And they're charging you a big fee to do this. So that's why you really want to get into physical, and that's why you get into gold and silver. They can't inflate it, and that's why the price is going to go up, is because of bricks. So when you play craps and you play blackjack and you play baccarat, you've got to understand how the game works and how hard it is to win, and you got to bet it in streaks. And then if you do get up and you're lucky enough to beat most of the risk, then you take the money. As you're up, you take it and put it in your pocket. You play a little bit more. If it starts going down, you cash out and you won. And that's the point. You don't care how much you win, as long as you win. You play as long as you're hot, as long as you're getting good cards, you keep playing. So you could be there 20 minutes, or you could be there for 3 hours. I had a big night in Vegas. I flew there for the Michigan-Ohio State game 100 years ago. I'm at a poker table with a couple of tourists who were just there to gamble and have fun. They didn't know how to play poker. I didn't leave. I think I started at 9 or 10. I was going to play a half hour, an hour. I was 8:06 in the morning. And even then, I was just too tired from the flight. I wanted to watch the game, or I could have easily slept all day Saturday. Um, so that's really what you're doing, is you're understanding the game, the bet, how to bet, the risk. You've got to understand there's risk. People amaze me when I don't go 100% on my football picks. It's like, well, what do you want me to? I'm predicting the future and I do it damn well, but I can't do it 100%. Well, I'm not going to use you next week. You went 11-1. You had a loser. Anyway, I see that too many times. So understand, you're making money and you want to make money with your money, and that's a good thing. But you got to understand the risk. You got to understand the money itself is being devalued and printed and inflated to zero. You must understand that concept. And like the guy on Attack on Wall Street, he gets into real estate trust. The stock market gets crushed. The real estate market gets crushed. His guy didn't get him out of it. His guy didn't warn him. And then a Home Alone guy goes, well, they take risks. When they win, they don't have any questions. And when they lose, they shouldn't have. The difference is they didn't lose. You killed the contract. You killed the real estate trust certificate, or whatever it's called. You deleted it. So they lost because you cheated. They didn't lose because they took the risk. And, I bought Bitcoin and now it's going down and I'm losing because it's going down. I didn't lose because of that. So you got to be careful. But I think my strong warning is: do not trust Wall Street. Do not trust anybody that produces Madoff. And then simply be very careful. Banks are corrupt. It's a corrupt system because there's not checked and balanced. You can print as much as the Fed can print. J.P. Morgan, they're not honest. They're very dishonest. Most banks are dishonest. So you've got to understand the game when you get into it. Wait, banks are dishonest. Wall Street's dishonest. A house is a house, but I got to buy a physical one. And you just understand that's the nature of the beast. Do you want to fuck with that? I don't play stocks. I could, but I don't want to. I've chosen a better option, which is gold and silver, than stocks. It is. I have no risk in the portfolio. I'm going to make money on gold and silver. I know it's waiting for bricks. I know COMEX is full of shit, But I also know so's Wall Street. It's full of shit. And I know the money's full of shit. So the key is getting out of the money, which is why I use the Titanic. Is the Titanic sinking, you got to get off the boat into the lifeboat. And the dollar is sinking as fast as the Titanic did. And you got to get off the dollar into a lifeboat. And that's gold and silver. Not a life raft, Andy. It's a lifeboat. And you got to get off of that. You got to get into the boat. You got to get out of the dollar. So that's what Egon talks about for wealth preservation. You got to get out of the dollar, the boat sinking, and gold and silver are the only way to get out of the dollar. And then you add that with they'll get out of the dollar to get into gold and silver because that's the lifeboat. So I say it a little bit different because I think more people understand it that way. And now we all wonder why everybody doesn't do it because they don't. People have made a lot of money in the stock market because it's fixed, and their financial advisor made them, buy Intel, buy this, buy that, and so they bought it, and so they think their financial advisor knows what they're doing, and he doesn't. He just knows these stocks are going up because everybody's in these stocks, and there's a guy going, tell him to buy Amazon, tell him to buy Apple, and it goes up. It's got nothing to do with the stock broker or financial advisor. He's just a salesman. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know Austrian economics. So when it's the move is to go into gold and silver, the people listen to their advisor because he made them a lot of money. And what am I telling you to do? Get out of stocks, get out of the bank and go into gold and silver. Well, gold and silver doesn't do anything. Yeah, but it's about to explode. You can see gold at 2,900 is exploding already, and silver's in the 31s, and it's waiting, and it's just being held down because of the derivatives that J.P. Morgan and Goldman are going to lose when they got to pay up their derivatives, which I think is July 1st for silver also. And so people aren't. Why would I tell you to get out of the stock market? Oh no, I got my 401k there. I made a lot of money in Apple or Amazon or whatever the fuck. And so therefore they think it's never going to end. Believe me, when Lawrence Taylor retired, so did the Giants. When Joe Montana retired, so did the Niners. It doesn't last forever. There's keys to understanding why. And I think that's a big part of it. So you've really got to understand that. And people don't. They just they trust their broker for whatever reason because he's made the money. They trust him, but he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's not telling you to get into gold and silver. So all I would ask is if you're hesitant to get into gold and silver because you've been making money in stocks. Wonderful. Do you want to lose your money, or do you want to make more money, or do you just want to break even? And that's the key. Do you want to lose your money? Oh, I won't lose it. I'm in Amazon and Apple, and I don't even know what these stocks are, but my advisor tells them they keep going up until they don't, and that's about to happen. And so the warning goes out: get out of stocks, and you ignore it because you made a lot of money in it. But you're too stupid to keep your money. You're too stupid to say, "Hey, I was in Bitcoin at $1. It's 100,000. Probably time to take my profit because I don't think it can keep going up and up and up." But I don't, and I'm still in eBay or Bitcoin, and I'm still in Apple and Amazon. They don't know to get out. Oh, I'm playing craps. Oh, it's gonna. I won't see a 7 on the dice. I'll keep hitting pass after pass. I'll hit 100 passes in a row. That roulette, the black and the red, it's hit black 50 times in a row. It'll hit it another 50. I mean, that's how naive the people are. And so it's time to get out into gold and silver, but there's no impetus because they'll call their financial planner and he'll say, no, why would you want to get out of stock? Then I'll lose my commission. So if you want, I'll switch stocks for you so I can get commission when you sell and commission when you buy the new stock. I can do that for you. But No, don't buy gold. It's just dead money. It just sits there. Yeah, it sits there and makes a ton of money. I mean, what's the return on investment in gold? I bought it at 19, 1800, 1700, and it's at 2900. Yeah, I don't need a dividend if I'm getting that kind of return. And again, but you have to have the gold to get the return. You're not getting that return on an ETF. So that's what we're fighting is people listening to their financial planner who's made them a lot of money, but he doesn't understand it. That's why I'm very clear when I'm giving you how to pick football games and I'm giving you my picks. I'm very clear that technical trends don't work because of all the quarterback and coaching changes. So we don't use that anymore. We use a different method. But I'm very clear that I'm picking up the new quarterbacks, the new coaches. So I'm evolving with the new variables. So as the variables come in and change, and now there's Caleb, and now there's Daniels, and now there's Bo Nix, and now there's Penix. Well, I got to bet them differently. I don't just stay with the same. Well, we just keep betting against Washington. Now that they got Jalen Daniels, we don't. So Barkley's on Philly. We got to adjust for that variable. But that's what they're not doing in the stocks. Well, Apple went up. My guy knows what he's doing. He doesn't. He's just a salesman. You need to understand the dollar's losing. Get out of the stock market. That's the variable that causes you to get out of the market. Get off of the New York Giants. Lawrence Taylor retired. So now I'm off the Giants and I'm on the Cowboys or the Niners. I'm on Jimmy Johnson because he wins. He went from Miami Hurricanes to Dallas. We keep making a ton of money because we followed Jimmy. So that's all I'm saying is he's going to tell you to stay in stocks, and you're going to trust him because he made you a lot of money. Only not now. This is the end of the road, and you got to get out of the market because it's crashing. Because the dollar's crashing. The dollar's the variable that's changed. It's been inflated since 1971 with no value once it's taken off the gold standard. But for some reason, like 2008, everything crashed. Right? Banks went out, housing values went down, people lost trillions of dollars, and yet it seemed to bounce back. Well, they just printed more money. That's where your $37 trillion debt's coming. And so people think, well, if it happens, it'll bounce back anyway. Not this time. But they think it will bounce back because it's always bounced back. Oh, World War II, we had the Great Depression. Now we're fine. We had, the Y2K in 2000, and it came back. And we always come back. So that's the mindset. Only you've printed so much that this is worth nothing. And now you got a $37 trillion debt, which you never had. You've got BRICS buying gold and silver through their ass, not wanting the dollar, which you've never had before. So you've got new things. It's sort of like when the internet finally took hold in the 90s, then things started to change. And that's what you have now. I love how AI comes out and everybody buys it. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows if it's going to produce a value. What's the value of it? Is there a return? Or are companies buying it to get rid of their employees? And then they're going to see the repercussions when AI starts screwing up. And if I had a good employee here who could read this, then I'd be fine, but I don't. So I'm at the mercy of AI and watching it fuck up, and then there goes my business. They aren't watching it all. So that's my advice. Your financial advisor will tell you to stay in it, and you're going to trust him because he made you this money. I remember in the locker room, some guy said, "Oh, I made all this money in, I went to my financial advisor." I don't know why he doesn't look at his charts. I'm sure you get the forms. This is what my value is now. And so I said to the guy, "Are you still in money?" Now, I don't know the guy. He doesn't know me, but I love doing this. And he goes, "What are you going to put me in Bitcoin?" And I said, "No, I'm not going to put you in Bitcoin. But do you realize that your money is worthless?" That's the shock value I wanted to give him is your money is worthless. You might have $1 million that you made in stocks. It's worthless. And you might make another million, but at some point it's going to go to zero. Like Luke's friend, it's $4 million. At some point, it'll be zero because the dollar will go out. Well, it might not go to zero. The stock market is going to crash because people will pull their money out because the dollar's worthless. And you can't get the dollar. You can't. Well, inflation's down. No, because you can't measure it by prices. So you're not even looking at in the right way. You're looking left. You need to be looking right. That's the problem. So people don't get that. So unless you fully understand what I'm trying to teach you, uh, most people are going to lose everything because they don't get it, but they won't listen. Who am I to listen to versus my financial advisor who made me this money by just being a salesman and putting me into some stock, but that's it. And I don't even think he puts you in Bitcoin either. Maybe the ETF, which why would you want to be in an ETF? Stay away from ETFs. They're very, you don't make any money that you should, and you're paying a lot in fees, and you don't get anything physical. So understanding the world of finance and economics is critical. I teach you Austrian economics because it's the best and it's the easiest, and it actually works. Unlike Keynesian economics, we can just keep printing money. It won't go out of value. And you end up going bankrupt like every other country in the world who has been on a dollar that's worthless. China's headed next. Russia's there. Like I say, Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Brazil, Greece, Sri Lanka, Pakistan. The list goes on and on of companies who printed themselves to death. I love when they ran out of money. How do you run out of money? You have a printing press, fucker. What are you talking about? You ran out of money. You didn't run out of money. The money had no value because you kept printing it. And most of the people in government are corrupt. I would say 99% of them. So you can't trust them. So if you trust dollars, you're out of your mind to begin with. I know it's a necessary evil that you get paid in it, and then you want to go on a vacation or go to dinner, you use money, but you've got to understand it. So the best thing you can do now is go into credit, because I owe a credit card. I'm paying him back in inflated dollars. So if I pay him, $500, he's getting $500 maybe worth $50, but it counts as 500. I mean, that's the thing. So you really want to be in debt now and paying back in toilet paper. That's really what you want to do, but not too much, and you got to be careful with it. But anyway, anything else? Questions, comments? Jack Bauer, ETFs, gold, Putin. So Putin and Trump want the war to end. Trump's making all this with gold because the only way out of his debt is with gold and a much higher gold price. Basically, all the gold's gone. 200,000 tons is gone between Russia, China, India, BRICS. The U.S. doesn't have any. England doesn't have any. Canada doesn't have any. I love how Trump, first said, "Hey, let's audit it." Now he's saying, "Oh, it's stolen. Somebody stole the gold from Fort Knox." Yeah, I don't think it was stolen. It was sold there. But he's preparing you because when they do audit it, there won't be any gold there. So there won't be an audit because they can't open the door and say, "Hey, there's nothing there." I'm surprised he's saying it's stolen because that's admitting we don't have any gold also. So be very careful with that. Football draft, we talked a little yesterday. We'll talk about it tomorrow. How about that? Basketball, I don't know. I mean, I can't watch it. It's terrible. Such a bad sport. We got the draft coming up. Baseball, spring training, I think starting in March. Season's a month away. We'll do some baseball picks as we get familiar with the pitchers. Again, I'm teaching the theory of how to do it, and looking for ways to do like adult education, so I can make money here and I can make money like doing these seminars where you got 50 people that pay $50 and you teach them economics. Although I got to figure out how to do that and where to do that. But that's my goal. I'd rather do that than work. I may send you an email about a legal question I have concerning the bars. Okay, I'm not an attorney, but I'll do my best to try to help you. Um, but yeah, if the attorney is, he should be the one shipping and insuring the stuff to come to you. You might ask, well, why isn't it going to your girlfriend? Why are you sending it to me? But that's fine. And is the girlfriend okay that you're getting the gold and not her? This I don't know. This would be a question that I'd want to get answered. And then again, how close are you? And then when do you meet, and when, how do you ship the gold? Maybe why don't they split the shipping? Why don't they split half to you and half to your girlfriend? Why do you need all of it? Or why does she need all of it? So it's interesting what's going on. I do believe it's real, I think, but especially having a funeral on the weekend makes it a little more believable, unless you're Gene Hackman. Um, anyway, that's what's going on. It is Saturday. Like I said, I woke up and I thought it was Sunday. I knew it was the weekend, but I for some reason thought it was Sunday. And then now I realize, oh, okay. So today's Chinese food and off to the pool a little bit. I got more time today. They're open till 7. Tomorrow they're only open till 4:30. So I can go 2:30, 3 o'clock and do my workout and then go get the Chinese. A nice little treat on the weekend. Otherwise, that's about it. Any questions or comments? Again, so of all the investments, so if we review, you've got risk, you got investment, you got retirement, you got gambling. Of all that, the best thing to buy is gold and silver. Gives you zero risk. It is an investment. It's perfect for retirement because in this scenario, because the dollar's going out, you need something that'll hold its value as you retire. And that's the thing with the dollar, it's not going to hold its value. So you think you got $500,000 to retire on, and then you don't. It's not. There's no value. The dollar has no value. And then maybe they come up with another one, and maybe that takes some of it. You can exchange your dollar for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar for the new dollar. Maybe that happens, but gold's not going to go anywhere. That's only going to go up. And then gambling, you're gambling in everything. You're gambling in stocks, bonds, the money in the bank, annuities, real estate trust, as you see from Attack on Wall Street, 60 grand in a real estate trust, and he lost it. That's gambling. Gambling is you're gambling with your money, even though you think in the bank, I'm not gambling. You are gambling because if the money's worthless or the bank goes out, you don't get your money. That's gambling. So how do you take the risk to zeros? You buy gold and silver, put it in the safe in the house, put some money in the safe in the house, put your Montana cards in the safe in the house, and that's what you do. So anyway, that's what's going on. Split the shipping. Well, the reason I say that is you're saying, how do I ship her the bars? Well, what's the plan here? That's what I'm saying. So phase 1, you get it. Is phase 2, you split the bars? Does she keep them all because they're her father's? Do what happens? And then when are you gonna meet her and be with her? And somebody's moving. Probably both of you are moving. You'll have a harder time getting it over the border than she will. She can just drive. I almost think if I was driving from Detroit to Montreal, I'd probably drive there and put some gold in my trunk or something, or in a grocery bag, something, and then just say, I got nothing to declare. And once you get past the border, you're home free. I think it's much easier at the tunnel or the bridge to get across than if you flew there, because then you're stopping and they're weighing it and all this other stuff. Where your car is your car, you got it in your suitcase, and then you can play dumb. Oh, I didn't know I didn't know I had to declare gold. Now you got gold bars, but if I have 10 ounces of gold in my pocket, I am not declaring those, and they're not checking my pockets. Uh, so we'll see with that. But yeah, that's I get you got to get the whole fate. What are we doing here? When are we getting together? What am I supposed to do? Because you're just kind of the middleman in this. So I would ask some questions, and I would tell her certainly not to sell the gold unless you have no money at all. Then maybe sell one bar and then you have money. But otherwise, I wouldn't be selling any of them. And if you have a job, just keep going as everything's just like you're doing now. You're getting your job and you're paying your bills and off you go. And like this, I don't use this to pay bills. I might, but at this point, I don't. I have it, and I got to get it graded. Of course, I know that, but it's just there. I don't really count it like, oh, I can sell this and I can pay off credit cards. Well, I don't even count it like that. It's just here as an asset, just like if you had a Picasso or a Van Gogh, like my Van Gogh, right? So there's the Van Gogh, the blue, but it's a poster. But let's say it was real. Well, okay, I have the money. What do I do with it? But I find paintings are extremely difficult to sell unless you can sell them at an auction. Um, my plan is to sell each bar on eBay after July 1st. You want to sell each bar or just one bar? Definitely sell at least one bar after July 1st. Yeah, I was going to say, you don't want to sell all the bars. You're about to make a fortune on the price going up. So the last thing you want to do is sell gold to get back into dollars. So yeah, one or two bars, but not if you got as many as you're saying. You don't want to be in this. You don't want to be on the Titanic. So that's what you're looking at. You want to be in gold. Like you're buying gold, you're not selling it. But if, like I said, you need money or you're going to buy a house or whatever, and you need money, then yeah, you sell some of it. But keep in mind the price is going to go up, and keep in mind, and especially in Canada, your Canadian dollar is worthless. It's worth less than our American dollar, which is worth nothing. So be careful with that. But we will see. Um, no, just want to see how much I can get. Well, you can see how much you can get for it. Um, because I mean, first I would go to a jewelry store or coin store that sells gold. There must be stores in Montreal that sell gold. Usually sell and buy gold. You don't want to go to a pawn shop. You want to go to a jeweler who's pretty much working off of spot. And I would take it to him and just show him or take a picture. And then I would then see what it is on eBay. But eBay, you got to pay for an auction and you got to ship it. So you're asking for a lot of other expenses than just walking to the coin store, giving them like when I had a wrist and I had my wedding ring. I'm not married anymore, so I took it to the jewelry, and he gave me, I ended up getting a half ounce of gold because I wanted to trade it for gold. So I sold it and then got a half ounce of gold with it, and um, but that was it. I didn't have to ship it to him. I just drove there, gave it to him, gave me the gold coin, the half ounce, and walked out. So that's the easy part. And you got to understand how much an auction is going to cost on eBay or just to buy it now on that much money. And that's your other question. Do I want to? So I got to calculate all that out. It's not like an auction. You're not going to get, as you see it there was some for 98, 99, and some for 100, 103. It's not an auction, though. They're all buy it nows. You cannot auction gold off. Just put it at the price that close to everybody's selling it, and that's it. But if you try to do an auction, you'll never get over the price of these other. So if you want to do an auction from $1,000, and there's a bar for 101,000, why would anybody give you more than 101,000 when they could just do the buy it now on the other eBay auction. So you wouldn't want to do that. So therefore, just put it at a buy it now price that you're happy with. But again, you've got the fee to list it, you've got the shipping fee and the insurance. So you got a lot of other fees tied up in there. How much is it to insure and ship? What is it? 2 kilometer, 3 kilo bar of gold versus going to the coin store and then just selling it to him. And I guarantee you don't have any of that to worry about. Even though you might get less money, it might be more because of the shipping and the insurance and the auction, doing the auction. So buy it now option is the best way to go. In gold, yes. And certain things I would say there's the buy it now option. Like if I was doing this, I would do buy it now or make me an offer. So if I get this back as a 10, it's going out there for 105,000. But I'll say buy it now, or I'll say make me an offer. So maybe somebody likes it, and he might offer me 97,000, and then I'd probably take it because this cost me $100. So that's probably what I would do. There's no. What am I going to run an auction for? Started at what, $1,000, but my price to sell it for is going to be 98,000. And then the auction can never get over where the other cards are. So something of this price, I would just do buy it now and that, or make me a best offer, and just look what other auctions are going, and maybe you're $100 less. So if you see a bunch of gold for 103, and I know this is larger, so let's say it's 210. Maybe you put it out, buy it now, 208,000. And then people look at the other auctions and go, oh, this is cheaper. I'll do that. I did that with the DVDs, 24 season 8. That's what I did. One guy had it at 10. One guy had it at 8. One guy, I think I bought it from somebody at $7 free shipping. And somebody else was $6, but there was $2 shipping. So I bought it from the guy. But I checked the prices, and it was all buy it now. There was one for 200, and I couldn't understand why. Unless you were selling the whole set, what are you selling? How are you selling season 8 for $200? What are you, crazy? When I can get it for $7 and $8. So anyway, that's the thing. So you got a place for it. I would get the plan from your girlfriend first. Where are we going? What are we doing? And how are we splitting up the gold, or is it all going to you because it's yours and I'm the stipulation, or are you giving me a gold bar to keep because I helped you, or what it is? Because it's hers based on her dad's. So at the same time, so it probably should be shipped to hers. Then maybe she gives you 1 or 2 gold bars as a thank you because she couldn't have got it without you. Maybe. Is she giving you half? I'd be shocked, but I don't think she understands it, that she'll try to sell it for money. It's the worst thing she could do. So we'll see. So anyway, that's what you're doing. So there are options to sell it. eBay's always good, and the coin stores are very good. You can't go into a bank and sell it, but you can go into a jewelry store that buys and sells gold, and that's what I would recommend, not a pawn shop. And in Montreal, you're going to be getting Canadian dollars, so make sure you exchange, because the exchange rate's terrible. I think it's like 75 to the Canadian. So if it's 75 to the Canadian, you want 100 and, well, let's say you want 105 USD, not. So you got to then convert it into Canadian. So it might be 150 Canadian versus 100 US. It's okay. So 70. So again, so it's like inverted, it's like 130. So if it's 100,000, you want 130 Canadian if you sell it in Canadian. And you're probably going to have different taxes. So I don't know your taxes. And your shipping is going to be more. It's coming from Canada, and then the insurance. So it's a bigger cost. You'd probably find a coin store and avoid the shipping, the insurance, and the taxes and all that. If you could, that's what I would do. I wouldn't go on eBay and sell any of my stuff. I'd go to the coin store and get the money right away, even if it's maybe cost me a little bit of $50 or something. Do you pay any tax when you sell to a coin store? No, well, no, I didn't. I because it's gold and it wasn't that much. It was 1,500, so I really just switched it for a half ounce gold. But I didn't pay tax to sell my gold to the store. You didn't charge me tax. At least I wasn't aware of it. He said, "Oh, it's worth 1,500 net," and then I said, "Well, let me buy a half ounce." Or it might have been like 11. I think the half ounce was 11. And so I said, "Well, just I'll take a half ounce of gold." And he was happy because he could sell the gold, and he got this. All he was going to do was melt down my ring and my bracelet. I was surprised he'd melt down my bracelet. It was a nice bracelet. It was the same as this necklace. I don't think, why would you melt this down? Just put it on display and sell it. But anyway, no, I didn't pay any tax. I don't think you do for a while. It's a pretty big number. Well, yeah, I'm in the U.S. and you're in Canada, so I don't know what they're probably wanting their tax because they're in such deficit. Anyway, I think that's about it. I'm tired and I'm gonna have some lunch and go to the pool. All right. Have a nice day, everybody. Enjoy. I'll see you tomorrow. Today's actually Saturday, not Sunday. I hope Daria's okay. She was on at 6 in the morning, which is, yeah, you got to add 7 hours. So it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, her time. So she's probably sleeping. She does that to me when she's sleeping and she doesn't feel good. She tends to, she doesn't talk to me that much, but I think it's just culture. Like I said, it's all culture. And I'm a little bit older, so I grew up X. That's my fear of companies. They don't know how to manage anymore because they don't have anybody qualified. All the kids growing up, all they did was text and play video games. They don't know how to communicate. And that's, I think, the problem. So you're going to have that. All right, everybody. Yeah, email me if you want. I'll answer if there's a question. But out of the blue like this, and then the guy unfortunately passed, so not sure. All right, have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Ciao.